Okay, so today in this 20-foot 2017 Flying Cloud, we're going to replace this 24-inch Samsung TV with, I have this monitor that's not being used anymore. It's a 32-inch LG monitor. We're going to replace it with that. So kind of got everything we need down here. You just need a couple of screwdrivers, one long screwdriver. I've got some wire wrap. This is a little TV tuner that we can use to get the TV channels, over the air channels. I've got a RCA adapter here that'll plug into the back of my monitor, my PC monitor. Some extra stuff to kind of help me get the inverter outlet more useful. So just a little extension cord there and some tape, and I'll show you why I have the tape in a bit. But yeah, so we're going to just come in here and take this guy off. It's really straightforward. And once I get to that point, I'll set things up and we'll start to look at it a little closer. Okay, let's kind of see what we need to do here. So this guy, if I can get him into the camera for you. Oops, the power cable already came out. So this guy just has these 4 screws right here to take them off. It's got an HDMI cable, power cable, and it's got this RCA stereo plug here for the sound. So let me just get this all unplugged really fast. And it also has a coax cable to the exterior antenna. We're going to take that off as well. Okay, so once all that's off, it's really just a matter of taking these 4 screws off, and then this thing will just come right off, of course. Nothing fancy here at all. And I'll show you how I'm going to take this off so it doesn't just fall and break as we get to the last screw, in case you don't have another pair of hands like me. So I'm going to take this one off. And just let it set down onto here. Okay. Then we'll get this last one. Okay. So got it off, and let me just go set it down. Okay, so that was pretty easy. The next thing we're going to need to do is get into these wires a little bit. We'll have to get into this box because I need to run a different power cable for the new monitor through the box. Okay, so this is probably one of the few tricky parts of this install, is we got to get this box off and run some new cables behind here. To do that, you need a long screwdriver because the bolts holding the top of the box are all the way in the back, and they screw into the side of the trailer. There's 2 smaller screws down here that attach that are much easier, but those top 2 are just a little bit of work, not much, but a little bit. Get these little caps off of here. So we're going to take this box off. Let me unplug this. get those two. Let me see if I can get a shot to show you where that other screw is down in there. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up for you or not. Yeah, anyway, it's sitting down in there. I can't quite get it to focus in on it for you, but I'm gonna go in there with the long screwdriver and we'll get them out. Actually, I'm not going to take them all the way out. I'm just going to back them out enough so that this box will come off the wall. One side's off, the side's still a little bit connected more. There we go. Okay, so that just slides back. Be careful, this is really heavy. This wall mount here is really heavy. This thing will tip really fast, so just be careful. Okay, but you can see that the bottom screws attached to this, the top screws go into these two spots on the side of the trailer. Okay, here's the top two. If you leave them out a little bit when you go to put it back in, it'll just be easier to put it into the hole properly. Okay, so let me just get the wires out of here. Okay, so I've got a little bit of some tie wraps here I need to snip before I can get this power cable to come all the way through and come out this way. I don't have my snippers. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my wire snips. Let me just get these wires apart here. Your wires may be put together a little bit differently than this, but that's how these happen to be put together right now. Okay, so this guy, this power cable, it wants to come out this way. It doesn't go the other way, it only goes this way. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got the TV out and the power out and the wires exposed. So now let me just kind of get everything ready to go and we'll put the wires back in. But before we do that, there's a few things I got to talk about. So one thing I got for this project is this extension cord here that has multiple USB ports and multiple plugs. You know, this trailer has just a few inverter outlets. You know, there's this one, there's one under the dinette, and then there's one up by the DVD player, and I know there's one up in the bed, but there's not that many, and there's certainly not very many that are convenient to get to really easily. So I'm going to just expand this inverter plug so that we have something here that's easy to just plug a phone into or plug something into really quickly to be able to use the inverted power when we need it. All right, as with most projects, there's always some kind of a challenge or a hiccup along the way. So my new power cable needs to feed through this hole on the side here for the TV, but you know, this doesn't fit through there, neither does this, so I can't really get it through there. So what I've done is I bought just a bigger one. I'll drill out the hole and put the bigger one in, and then this power cable should fit through this one just fine. We'll double check. Yeah, no problem. So okay, let me get all that ready to go, and then we'll continue on. I'm going to talk about one other issue here as well before I start working on this box. So I've got this off. We've got this new monitor to mount. The new monitor mounts in these holes, these outer holes here. And unfortunately, this piece right here covers up some of the inputs. So if we look here, you can see where we're going to mount in these 4 points. But down in this corner, that piece of the mount blocks the ability to plug in the power in this other HDMI port. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, just this one right here, and I'm going to just grind it down, cut it, grind it, paint it really quick, and then that'll give me access to those. It'll leave me 3 points on the mount in case I ever need to mount something out in those outer points. But for now, that's going to come off. So I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but I've got my drill saw here, and I started to try and do this without anything to kind of help it start, and I'm going to really ruin it if I don't do something different. So what I've done is I've kind of made a plug here. I'm going to get this plug down in there, and then I'll use that to help me center the drill saw and saw out a nice clean hole. All right, that let me get a nice clean hole, and that plug just comes right out with the piece that you saw out of there. So there we go. All right, now this guy should just set right down in there. Yep, there we go. Now I've got a bigger hole on the side of the box. All right, so I took my angle grinder and I got this arm cut off here, so we're good. I'm just gonna file it down and smooth it up, and then I'll put a little bit of paint on it. Okay, so I've got the bracket cut and painted. It's not, perfect, but unless you know what's going on, you're not gonna notice anything there. So I'm gonna get it back in the trailer and get everything hooked up. Okay, back in the trailer here, I've got some new wire wrap that I put around the existing wires. I'm going to also add in, this is the monitor wire, so it's already in there coming out here, and then I need to just feed the actual power cable through the new hole that I've put into the box that I'm going to put up here right now, and we'll feed that through on the way up. Okay, so for now I've got all my wires in the wire wrap here. I'm about ready to put the box back up, and then I've got these 2 power cables that need to come through the side of the box and then out the front as well. So this black one is for that little TV tuner. I think for now I'm gonna run the power cable through the box. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna put that little TV tuner yet, but let's get it all hooked up and sort of see how everything's working, and then I'll figure out where to put that little tuner box. Okay, let me grab the box here. Okay, so these 2 need to go through the side here. And this one's just going to connect into the power brick for the monitor. Get in there nice and snug, so you can be able to get to it very easily after we put this all back together. Okay, then this guy is going to go in as well. I'm going to bring him out of this top slot here. Okay, so let's get this other. This other group of wires out. Gotta be careful here because this thing's real front heavy. It wants to fall forward. I need to feed all these guys through here. Sorry about the jets. We live in a military fly zone here. Okay. There's one. Let's get the HDMI cable through. Okay, that's through. Yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? That is it. Okay. Something's not wanting to go through here. What's happening? There we go. Okay. Alright, I'll pull through as much as I can for now, and then we can tuck them back in once we get this thing kind of up against the wall again. See what's happening. Gotta get this brick up and over that. There's a cross beam in the back there that the brick wasn't happy about being in front of. Let's go back here. Get over here and do it. A little less front heavy. Okay, that in there, all that in there. In there, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can get this pushed back, and I'm just going to attach the top for a minute, and then we're going to test everything out. This is the tricky part. Getting these holes lined up again is not super simple. Okay, that wire bunch was kind of in the way. Try and get this one side to screw in farther, and then I can probably line it up better once I've got it in farther. Once I get one side in, then the other side will be just fine. Let's just put this in. Okay. Okay, so we've got it attached at the top. Put the bottom ones in real fast too, just so nothing falls here, and then we're gonna we'll tighten them up whenever we feel like we've got everything ready to go. Okay. All right, so we've got the box back in there. Now what I'm going to do is we'll get the TV mounted and actually the PC monitor mounted, and then we'll hook it up and we'll see how it works. Okay, just like I did with the TV when I took it off, I'm going to put this monitor on one screw at a time, and I'm going to set it up here so I can get this going first, since I only got one set of hands here. Okay. Again, there we go. All right, so we've got it mounted. So one thing I had done before even deciding to install this was just check to make sure the size of this worked out okay, and it's it's just a little bit off the edge here, but not much. But much bigger screen. It swivels around fine. It's not hitting the cabinet or anything. So yeah, so I'm gonna hook up the wires and then we'll give it a try and see how it looks. So you can see how I cut that piece off right here, and that allowed me to have access to all my inputs here. Yeah, it looks fine. Doesn't look too bad. Okay, all hooked up. Let me we'll put it back in place here, and then we'll see how it looks with the DVD player. Okay, we've got the DVD player on. We're gonna just see how it looks here. Turn the monitor on.
The greatest discovery in
Alright, so the picture looks good.
Will uncover the origin
Sounds good.
And lead history's greatest heroes.
So I think we've got it set up right. So let me get the TV tuner set up and we'll try that. Okay, I got the TV tuner hooked up. Searched for channels. Everything looks pretty nice. Works just like a regular TV. So yeah, I think all I really have to do now is figure out how to mount all of this kind of TV tuner hardware in a way that it's not being seen, and I'll just do that later. But for now, I just wanted to finish up with this and kind of show you guys that This little gadget's like I think it's less than $30 for this little gadget. You can use pretty much any monitor. The DVD player is already a smart DVD player, has Netflix and things like that on it. Okay, I'm going to just talk about a couple little issues that came up with this little TV tuner that we put on the back of this monitor. So right now it's looking pretty good. We're on channel 8. This is a lower channel here in San Diego. But I'm going to go turn on the lights to the trailer, the LED lights, and basically that's going to throw some interference into our signal and we're going to get knocked out here. Hold on one second. So there it goes. So all I did was turn on the overhead LEDs and it knocked out our signal. If we scroll up a little higher in the channels, if we get up to like channel 15, so channel 10 is out. As soon as we get up to 15, it starts working again. So there's a little bit of interference from the lights, which is kind of unfortunate, but I'm not sure what to do about that. So that's one issue. And let me explain another one here in just a second. Okay, so here's the second issue with this little TV tuner. So what I've done is I've just mounted it on the back of the monitor with some double-sided Velcro. And what happens is you have this antenna signal coming in the Airstream. It has a little booster switch over here that boosts the signal and turns the antenna so that this cable is coming from the outside antenna and boosts the signal, which makes the power coming into this box pretty hot, pretty high. And the box itself gets really hot. So essentially this amount of power coming down the antenna is a little too much for this little box. So what we've done is we bought this intermediate attenuator. This is a 6 dB attenuator, and that essentially takes some of the power out of the signal coming in before it enters the box. I mean, this is a little bit hot now, but not nearly as bad as it was when this is connected directly to the box. So it would essentially be really hot. This is maybe a fifth as hot as what it used to be coming into the box. So those are really cheap, these attenuators. There's different levels. Like I said, we put on the 6 dB one, and I think this was $8 or something like that. So really cheap, and helps keep the power down on the input signal so this box doesn't get so hot. Okay, so another issue that came up with this TV is these connectors here. So the location of these connectors, if they're sticking out too far, they'll hit this bar back here, and then I can't lock the monitor in while we're driving with this little lock mechanism that they have installed on this mount. So what we had to do is kind of get a few different connectors here. So we were able to get a 90-degree HDMI connector to go up to the TV tuner, and then we have just a pigtail style HDMI connector to come down to the DVD player. And then for sound, there's a little 90-degree RCA jack here, and then we plug that into the connection for the RCA. So by doing that, it puts everything much closer to the back here so that we can actually lock the TV when we push it back in to the lock mechanism. So yeah, that's another thing that was just a little tricky. Had to find the right connectors to get it all to work nice.